Okay, welcome to this set of tutorials for Autodesk Inventor. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Kaiser. I am a full-time technology education teacher at Lake Zurich High School in Lake Zurich, Illinois. Also the lead faculty mentor for Barobotics, First Robotics Team 2358. And I am also an adjunct CAD professor at College of Lake County in Grayslake, Illinois. So welcome, and we're going to cover a whole series of the basics of Autodesk Inventor. This video is going to cover the overview of the screen and the different modes of Inventor and where you can find stuff. So your screen should, as you see it, kind of look like mine, except I would expect that you have no parts or assembly or drawings down here. These are the last files that you have open. I personally don't like to use this screen. I have my Inventor set to not have this. You can click it off by going there. So we go to New, and the standard part file is called a standard IPT. IPT is the file extension, short for Inventor part file. So if we click that and create, we can also just double click this. We're going to notice in the bottom left-hand corner of our screen down here that we are loading. And in a second, we're going to see our screen. So a couple of major things to point out here. We are on the ribbon in Inventor, just like every other pretty much Windows-based program. So you've got 3D Model, Sketch, Annotate, and then a bunch of ribbons underneath certain palettes of that ribbon tab. This over here is the model tree. This is very important. This is a chronological ordering of your part and how you made it. So for those of you that are familiar with AutoCAD, while they're both made by Autodesk, the same company, there are a lot of differences. In AutoCAD, I couldn't tell how you made a drawing. If you mirrored something or if you just redrew the other side of, let's say, a symmetric part. In Inventor, I can see exactly how you made every single feature in a part. And then this is our editing window over here. This is where our part will show up. So this is where you will see your solid model. The view cube, another very important thing in the upper right hand corner right here. This is our view cube. And we see a couple of different areas of the view cube. We see it says front, which tells us that our current orientation is looking at the front. We see arrows off to the sides, which will actually flip the view cube to change your perspective, how you're looking at your model. So there's right, there's back, there's left, and then one more time is front. And then if we click this arrow, we will see top, back, bottom, and then back to front. And then the opposite sides do the same thing. This and this arrow here, these curved arrows, will actually rotate your perspective. And the house button, which we use a lot, is also tied to the F6 key, and that will give you an isometric perspective of your part. So there are two main modes to Inventor. There's part mode or solid mode, which is what we're in now, and there is sketch mode. So the way that 3D modeling programs work, whether it's Inventor or Rhino or Creo or SolidWorks, is you sketch and you make a solid base off of that sketch. So sketch a rectangle and extrude it, you've got a solid looking extrusion. So to get into sketch mode, to start making a solid, we're going to go to Start 2D Sketch, and then we're going to see our work planes. Those work planes correspond to the three main planes that are shown in our model tree under Origin, and also correspond to our triad that shows us the orientation that we're looking at our part. So this plane here is YZ, and if you look, you can see that the Y is this direction based off of our triad, and the Z is this direction. So if we wanted to sketch on the YZ, if we compare that to our view cube, that would be the right side. So another way to look at this is if this is confusing to you, and it is to a lot of new Inventor users, and that's not a big deal. If you know you want to sketch on the top, click top on your view cube and then rotate it so that the word reads correctly. And now you can pick the plane that you see as a square. Notice you only see the other two planes as lines and you cannot pick to sketch on them. So just a little tip if you get confused by the view planes until you kind of get into the flow of working with Inventor. So now we can see that we are on the Sketch tab. And all we're going to do is come down, and I'm going to cover all of these different tools in subsequent videos. But just to kind of give you an overview, and you don't need to pay attention to the specific steps that I'm doing here, but you do need to pay attention to just kind of the general flow. So let's make this rectangle 3 inches. I'm going to hit tab to go into my other dialog box for my dimension. And let's make this 1 inch. So now I have a 3 inch by 1 inch rectangle. I'm going to go to the big green check mark to finish my sketch. I'm going to hit my house button or F6 on the keyboard. And then I'm going to go to extrude. And that's going to give me the extrusion dialog box. And again, we'll cover all this in subsequent videos, but for right now, let's go with a 1 inch distance. And now I can see that I have a solid. I can orbit to look at it real time. The way that I'm doing that is holding down the Shift button on the keyboard and at the same time clicking in on my mouse wheel, not scrolling, but clicking it in and holding it. And now I get my orbit. I prefer it that way. It's easier. There's no steps. I can just click. I usually keep my left thumb over the Shift button anyways. Inventor is not as keyboard intensive as AutoCAD can be should you choose to be a keyboard person on AutoCAD. There's also the orbit tool over here, and I can then free orbit. Now, one of the nice things about doing this is I can also roll around or along an axis. So that's nice if I want to change my perspective. So that's a very basic overview of Inventor, how to start a part, how to start a sketch. And like I said, we'll go into more detail down the road, but for right now, that is the basic layout of Inventor. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.